There's a website. I'm going to throw this out there real quick. This is stupidly interesting, okay? It's a live prediction website, okay?
Okay.
So you can click on the teams, blah, blah, blah. So here's the scenario that I have typed in, and everybody's going to laugh at this. And because when I did it, I was like, you got to be kidding me, okay? If Michigan wins next week, Georgia wins, and TCU loses, okay? USC loses, and that means Kansas State has won the Big 12. This website gives Kansas State at a 3-loss a 53% chance of making it. And I was like, what the hell? Like, where did that come from? And because it pops up, whatever algorithm it uses, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, are you kidding me? So if Kansas State wins the Big 12 and USC doesn't, they're giving Kansas State a flip a coin chance of getting in, which makes zero sense to me. I don't know if the committee would do that, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and the human element of that is obviously the rogue thing that you can't really account for because it's not the BCS. It's not a computer telling you who's in, who's out.
I don't know this algorithm, but it goes off. So they actually have it in real time. It updates. They've got the top 4 right now. They're saying is Michigan, Georgia, TCU. They're saying Michigan jumps Georgia this week. And then, hold on,
Maybe.
Hear me out. You're about to laugh. So they've got it: Michigan, Georgia, TCU, Ohio State, USC. Hold on, USC. Now this is before LSU lost, though. We'll just say this.
Okay.
LSU, Kansas State, Alabama, Clemson, Tennessee. Yep. Same face.
Obviously Clemson.
I was like, what? No,
Clemson
that was with Clemson's loss today. That was with Clemson's loss on there today at 10-2.
Really?
Yes. I was stupidly surprised. I was like, wait, hold on. Where the hell did Kansas State come from?
Yeah, I think with the human element of the
somebody just asked me this site I was looking at. It is called 538.
Well, that's Nate Silver is.
No, I don't know the algorithm I use. It's a pretty cool deal because you can just click and you've clicked way too many buttons when it tells you that scenario has a under 0.25% chance. Click new buttons. Had that a few times. You know what I mean? But I'm wondering like where Kansas State is coming from. And it literally right now, obviously LSU is going to drop. We get it because this was right before their loss tonight. They're going to drop. But that means that if they drop, then they have technically Kansas State being up to 6. Which at 3, Kansas State being up to 6. I don't agree with that.
I'll drop in here and I'll say, so from here, let's just assume Tennessee, there's no shot at the playoff.
There's not.
It just
there's not.
Would be the miracle of miracles. I hate that.
And here's why there's not. We will not jump Alabama, and Alabama doesn't play another game.
Exactly.
That's the reason why like there's no shot.
This is where I'm going. Okay. So let's compare here a little bit. Tennessee beats Alabama. Beats them straight up. 52-49. Then you do lose to South Carolina by 25. It's horrific, but it happened. Then South Carolina goes and they beat Clemson at Clemson, and you kind of go like, okay, well, maybe South Carolina is a little bit better than we thought, even though they got destroyed by Florida, yada, yada. We know what happened. Alabama goes and they finish out with a loss to LSU on a 2-point conversion, a 1-point loss, 3-point loss to Tennessee. So a total of 4 points that they lose by this season. And what I think is funny is that Tennessee, again, a win over Alabama.
But that doesn't matter. You got to take that out of consideration.
But the assumption, again, you're saying it, the assumption is purely that Alabama is ahead of Tennessee.
Well, no, it is. They've ranked us. They've been ranked ahead of us since we lost.
They have.
We're not going to jump them. But here's the reason why. 4 total points, both on the road. 25 points to South Carolina, and what was it to Georgia? 14.
Yep.
Something like that. So 39 points versus 4. Both losses for Alabama were top 6 teams. Ours was an unranked 25-point loss. It doesn't matter what we do. It doesn't matter what they it doesn't matter the head-to-head at that point.
Tennessee
Unranked
52, Alabama 49.
But Charlie, you got to take the fan perspective out of it here. Truly, I'm with you, but you got to take when you're talking about the rankings, you got to take your fan perspective out of it and understand they're going. Yes, does the South Carolina beating Clemson look better for us? Kind of. But Clemson, what have we said about their offense this whole time? Atrocious, right?
It's terrible.
1-point loss. 25 versus 1. All I'm getting at is it last week killed it all. And that's why I didn't have any other words besides garbage last week. Because it was 25 points and they were unranked. That's why, because Alabama's 2 losses were to top 6 teams. Okay? So top 6 versus unranked, 4 total points, 39 points.
But
that is the point blank reason why.
But counterpoint. This is purely judging from history in the college football playoff. The college football playoff committee has sort of scoffed at good losses. They really kind of go like, no. Good losses are not a thing. A loss is a loss is a loss is a loss. Historically. Obviously, this season, in my personal opinion, has been a perfect example as to why the playoff needs to be expanded. You have
have to.
Yeah. You have one great team in Georgia, and even Georgia kind of laid a stinker against Georgia Tech today. But you have one great team in Georgia, and then a ton of teams that are just sort of jockeying for second place. And I think every team from 2 to 12 could beat each other. I think I say that with total confidence. And so they don't really play that like quality losses game. So Tuesday is going to be interesting.
They do it year to year. It just depends on the scenario year to year, but they do. It's just the fact of what they don't weigh on as much, and especially at the Division II level and the FCS level, is conference championships.
Yeah.
And so the only thing that is different for Division I is there's a committee. But the reality is, sorry, I'm going to turn off my TV. The reality of it is unranked, giving up the most points we've given up since like 1890 something or whatever. And we lost by 25 points. Yes, head-to-heads matter when you're going for who's going to play in Atlanta. Head-to-heads matter when you're going to go, hey, both teams played 12 games, and it's a number 3 and 4 spot open, and they're both ranked 3 and 4. Who's going to get 3? Who's going to get 4? But to get ranked number 7 versus number 8, they're not going to look at head-to-head. They're going to go, well, they got that ass kicked last week. No way of saying it. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that's how it's typically done. And for those things, we got to take out, just like Ohio State. Ohio State is in a position they don't control their own destiny now. So they got to take their fandom out of play and go, we got to root for certain teams that we don't normally root for next week. It's the only way they have a chance. Yeah. That's the part about why we're on the same page. They need to expand. The 4 teams is atrocious.
It's a real shame this year.
Good teams that these bowl games, and we're one of those teams now that going, we're in a New Year's Six bowl, which is the old BCS, right?
Yeah.
BCS bowl games. And everybody's going, I mean, it's just a New Year's Six, which is something, it's not to stub your nose at, but that's what everybody kind of does now.
I mean,
like every team. And I don't agree with that because that's not right to the teams that have worked so hard to get there. That's why we got to expand. We have to. We need to sooner than later.
I'm very much with Diane and Mike here. Diane says, Alabama, Bama. That's why. And then Mike says, if a win doesn't matter, why play the games? And then it's really this last sentence where he says, "You're right, because that's how it is. But understanding it doesn't make it any less foolish." That's exactly how I feel. You're right.
I'm not going to disagree with that. It
Yeah,
just
you're right.
it sucks. It sucks, is what it is.
Yes. Why?
No,
Why did we beat? Why did we beat Alabama and play that game and beat them 52-49 if that's not going to count for anything? Why? Because we both have 2 losses. And we beat them.
I'm with
why,
you. But
why did we play that game if it doesn't count for anything?
But it's also good. So I have this argument with my dad's buddy all the time. And he's always like, oh, well, Tennessee lost to blah, 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 or whatever, or has only played X amount of ranked teams. And I'm like, no, we played like 6 or 7, whatever. No, it's only 3. Well, how? Well, they're only ranked now. I'm like, dude, you got to go with the time that what you ranked when they're playing, because with that logic, because it's always like, oh, well, it's at the end of the year. What are they ranked? If that logic, then the number 1 team in the country, you never beat the number 1 team, because they weren't ranked number 1 at the end of the year if they lost.
Yeah.
And he always comes back with, well, there's no well. So you got to go with the logic of you played them at the time. That's what sucks about the South Carolina loss for us, is they were unranked. Now, when you look the next week, you go, hey, that maybe, unfortunately, maybe our defense sparked something in them. Like, I have to laugh about it. That's how bad it was, right?
Yeah.
And because if that would have happened earlier in the year, and then they go on a 3 or 4 game run, then everybody's going, ooh, hold on. Maybe that wasn't as bad. Maybe South Carolina wasn't really bad. It just sucks it happened so late for us. It really does.
Fall is in the air, and that means fall grilling with cookouts, tailgate parties, and so much more. Luckily, the flavor experts at Omaha Steaks have made it easy to savor all the flavors of fall with their mouthwatering assortments of perfectly aged steaks, ultra juicy burgers, and easy-to-prepare comfort meals that are ready in a flash. And now is the perfect time to load up on all this incredible flavor and take advantage of 50% off site-wide by shopping their Friends and Family sale. Go to omahasteaks.com and use my promo code Vols, that is VOLS, at checkout and get $30 off your order. And guys, I've said it in these ads for weeks now. I've had all of the stuff from Omaha Steaks. I can't endorse it enough. Everything has been high quality. It comes right to your door, so easy and convenient, and I mean, most importantly, tasty. So I wouldn't say it if I didn't believe it. So don't wait. Go to omahasteaks.com and stock up today. Omaha Steaks isn't just steak. It's the best steak of your life, guaranteed. And don't forget to score that extra $30 off your order when you use Vols at checkout, VOLS. Omaha Steaks is perfect for those chilly and busy fall nights. You won't come close to getting this kind of quality at the grocery store. Visit omahasteaks.com. Promo code Vols at checkout. Minimum order may be required. Omaha Steaks.
Well, here's kind of the conversation overall. Yeah, obviously, I think most Tennessee fans are going to feel like that's a little bit of an injustice, but it also is what it is. But
yeah,
here is the real talk in terms of what might happen to Tennessee. So, more or less, Sugar Bowl goes to the highest ranked SEC team that isn't in the playoff. Horrifically, Alabama could still make the playoff if USC loses next week and kill me.
Well, but we'll talk about that in a second. I got random scenarios.
The Orange Bowl is the next one, I believe, and it would. I feel like that's the most likely outcome, is that second spot, not the Sugar Bowl, just because Alabama's out there as that outlier. And in that spot, Clemson. Well, Clemson might have played themselves out of that at this point. I don't.
Yes. I'm gonna real quick about that. I'm gonna contradict myself a little bit now, in the sense of when they're looking at Sugar Bowl versus Orange Bowl, they actually may look at head-to-head at that point. You know what I'm saying? But just for pure rankings, we have no chance.
Yeah.
So that I don't know. And you know what they're going to look at? Whose fans are more geographically located to New Orleans versus Miami? Who could travel and get the most money? I hate to say it. It's probably they care about money. They don't care about the teams.
They do.
Which team's going to travel well? Well, the positive is Tennessee, Alabama, they're both going to travel well. So I think that might play into it. But if they're, like I said, I hope we go sugar because of dome. That's going to help us because now we can't, meaning we, cannot say anything about weather conditions for Milton so we can get a true judge for next year. That's why I want to play in the dome. Truly.
I like Carson here. He says, come on with it. Charlie with another pull on the old whiskey.
Just
conversation.
That doesn't happen. Just nice and quiet. Put it back.
This conversation just makes me feel that. It's a pull on a whiskey bottle conversation.
Yeah.
Because it's
like I said, that's the only reason why I think I would like sugar is so now after the bowl game, when the clock hits 0 and we get on the show, we can talk about truly what do I really think about Milton at that point? Because now there's no weather condition that can affect anything.
Yeah. I want to see that.
That's the whole reason why I want to go to the Sugar Bowl.
And I want to see Heupel go just balls to the wall, like anything and everything with Joe Milton, like throwing it all out there. Jalen Hyatt's final game, like all assuming he goes to the league.
But he would be dumb if he doesn't.
Yeah. Like I want to see that against a great team where you have a chance to beat a Clemson or whatever. Well, call them a great team. I don't know if they're a great team, but like you get a chance against a big brand. That's why when people were like, "Oh, well, Tennessee's going to fall to the Cotton." Shoot me. The Cotton Bowl, that's going to be against Cincinnati. That's going to be against Tulane. No. I don't. That's the last thing I would ever want because you lose that game, it's terrible. You win that game, it's meaningless. If you go to the Sugar Bowl and you play whoever Kansas State, that's a solid win. And
hold on now, hear me out though. Hear me out. Is it a solid win against a 4-loss Kansas State though? Because if they're in that game, it means they've lost the Big 12 championship game, and there's a 4-loss team.
Maybe. Yeah. Well,
I'll take it back. I mean, it's still a solid win, but the matchups I want to see personally, I don't want to see Alabama and I don't want to see Ohio State in the playoffs. Selfish reasons. Just don't want it to happen. But I'd love to see them play each other in the Orange or the Sugar Bowl. Right? I would. Because if they don't go to the playoffs, they're going there. They're going to one of the two. So I would love to see that matchup, which then, as long as Clemson can beat North Carolina next week, legitimately might let us match up with Clemson in either the Sugar or the Orange, which really helps us defensively.
I mean, it's just this. Seeing Alabama rewarded for losing less bad than Tennessee. That makes me.
Hold on, I did. It broke up. It broke. All I heard was seeing Alabama rewarded, and then it broke up.
Sorry. Yeah, I can see. I can see that my connection's not great. But seeing Alabama rewarded for having less bad losses, just ugh.
I mean, but I'm with you. But that's it. All I'm saying is, when you're going with the rankings, dude, I'm with you. Trust me. It hurts me to say it. That's where we have to take a step back from being a fan and understand when it comes to the rankings, they look at that stuff. It sucks. Totally with you, right? Because Alabama, their other losses are teams that we beat the hell out of, LSU.
I know,
right? But it just
by 30.
But you know what I mean. But here, remember what I said after that LSU game on this show? I said LSU was atrocious. LSU was garbage. LSU wasn't any good. They started playing really well after that game. I even said LSU did not deserve to be ranked in the top 25 at that point. They didn't. And then next thing you know, they're number 5. So when we played them, they weren't as good, or in my mind, and we beat the hell out of them, which we should have. We imposed our will early, and we said we're better than you, and there's nothing you can do about it. And that's what you're supposed to do. So it's one of those that the hard part is it's hard to say. It's like every year, it's like, okay, hey, hypothetically, Team A plays Team B. Will Team C beat Team A, which now means Team C should beat Team B? Well, they still got to play. See what I'm saying? Well, that's the hard part about rankings. Once again, I'm with you. But when you're doing the rankings, we got to take a step back from being the fan, which is very hard to do. Trust me, I'm very Tennessee biased, obviously. It sucks because I don't want to see Alabama rewarded either, but they're going to be in the New Year's Six or the playoff, depending on what happens next week.
Here's what I have to say to that. Where Alabama gets the benefit of the doubt because they lost less bad than us. This is what I have to say to that.
Yeah.
I have to say,
I'm with you. Because what year was it? Was it 14? I could be wrong. Ohio State lost to Penn State. Penn State plays in the Big 12 or Big 10 championship game. Penn State loses to Wisconsin. Ohio State makes it to the playoff.
it is what it is.
That's what I'm getting at. Again, if you want my true opinion, I think it's stupid. I think it's I got to use nice words. We'll just call it stupid. That like Michigan's AD is on the committee. Why? You're an active athletic director and you're on the committee. That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
I don't agree with how the committee is set up is what I'm getting at. You have active ADs and people that are active, legitimate fans and or boosters of these teams, and you're going to sit here and tell me that if you're Michigan's AD, you're going to vote for Ohio State to get in? Hell no, you're not. You know, like that's the stuff I don't agree with that.
I'm simply hoping. So you have number 5, number 8, number 9 all lost. Tennessee will probably fall at number 6. That's going to be my guess.
Nope.
You don't think they'll fall at number 6?
You think we're going to jump to 6?
USC. Oh, sorry, it would be number 7. Number 7. Sorry, I forgot about Ohio State.
Yeah, it'll be USC, Bama, or Ohio State at 5. Bama or Ohio State at 6. They're going to flip flop. You don't think there's any possibility at all that they hop Ohio State? No. I don't. Not this week. No, I don't. Depending on what happens next week, possibly, but not this week. No.
Yeah. So number 7. I'll say number 7.
I'm thinking 7, but then again, whoever that guy was that you said his name was, he had freaking Kansas State at 7, and I never would have thought a 3-loss team would be up there.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I don't think that's how to play out, but then again, I have no idea. I know a lot of people were sitting here saying Ohio State's going to be 4, and I was like, that they can't go to 4 because USC won tonight.
Well, here's what I want to do. Here's what I want to do, and here what we might do, because it might be like good cross promotion here. Maybe we'll have you on with me and Zach this week or next to talk about the playoff rankings. Like after the playoff rankings come out, maybe
I get heated. Oh God, because some of the things I go,
yeah.
What are you like? The committee's so stupid, like But I see a comment real quick that says, "Ask what teams I would want in, not who I think will get in." That's a good question. Obviously, I don't like Ohio State, so they're out. Don't want Bama, you're gone. You know what I mean? I don't want TCU because I think they're going to get annihilated whoever they play first game. So if the teams I would like to see, I would really want to see. Obviously, Georgia's in, Michigan's in. There's nothing I can do about it whether I want them or not. They're in. I would like to see Michigan match up with a very high-powered spread team, right, that can just move the ball wherever they want to move it, a.k.a. us.
Yeah, Tennessee.
No, I think
that would be nice, wouldn't it?
No, once again, I think it's a great matchup for Tennessee because now number 1 defense versus number 1 offense, not so great pass offense versus not so great pass defense. It's why I like the Clemson matchup for us. So I would like to see Georgia, Michigan, us, and USC because I think USC's offense can play with Georgia. I just don't think they can stop Georgia defensively.
No.
And then that would give us a Tennessee-Georgia rematch, but it's not going to happen, obviously. That was a want versus reality.
Well, maybe we'll have to do that. Like I said, this week or next, we can get you on with me and Reagan, and we'll have it out about what happens with the playoff rankings after the conference games. I don't know. We'll have to see. And it's good promotion.
That's going to be interesting. Next week will be very interesting to see because, the only team that 5 conference championship games, right? But the only ones that really have implication, SEC doesn't really, Big Ten doesn't really, in my opinion, keyword opinion, because I think regardless, Georgia, Michigan are in. Big 12 and the Pac-12, ACC doesn't mean anything.
No.
Except for Clemson, maybe Clemson getting into New Year's Six, but that's about it. It means
I
nothing
want
for
that. I want
you know,
Clemson. I want to.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, it means nothing for the playoff. So, like, honestly, no, I don't. Outside of random Clemson fans and UNC fans, nobody's gonna watch that game.
No.
And by the way, side note, it's funny as hell. Go on StubHub or Ticketmaster and look at the like random ACC championship game tickets versus SEC. Slightly comical. Like, it's disrespectful comical. You can get tickets to the ACC championship game for like $35. Like, it's nobody goes to this thing.
Nobody cares.
So the only games that mean anything next week are the TCU game and the USC game. So next weekend's kind of boring in the sense of the playoff. 2 games, the only thing that really mean anything. That's why we got to go to freaking 12, because then they actually mean stuff.
I know.